Finally, I'd like to briefly show you a template slash outline in Microsoft Word format for your convenience that'll help you to see what a good outline looks like. An effective, well organized outline. Show you the structure, the indents, the heading, and everything else. It's right now, let's open it up and have a look at it. And there it is. When you're using this, of course, right now it's in read-only mode. And when you first start your own outline, well, first you'll look at this particular outline and learn from it and look at the content and see how it's organized. This is credited to APA, and I downloaded it for your use. This is obviously, it's been filled in with an existing topic where somebody is making a case for banning jet skis. And it's a really nice outline, and it is very useful and illustrative. So let's take a look at it and see what the characteristics are. Oh, and I interrupted myself. This is right now in read-only mode. When you actually get to the point where you begin to use this template, this structure, this that's already set up for you, you'll need to do a save as command do a save as and save it in your own on your own hard drive or flash drive with your own name as you begin to develop it. So let's go back to this. So this is I thought this was an especially nice outline because it also has a place here for general purpose, specific purpose. You may even consider adding a description of your audience as another box in this template, and the theme or central idea, which you've already developed, helps you to get the whole paper together, the whole structure of it together, ready before you begin to write it. So what does this suggested outline show? It has an introduction, and the introduction, each of these probably A, B, C, D, depending on whether you like longer paragraphs or shorter paragraphs. Either this is one paragraph and another paragraph, or the whole introduction might be 6 relatively short paragraphs, depending on your word style, your topic, and the specifics. But the idea is that this outline is breaking things down either into a paragraph and a paragraph, or paragraph, 5 and 6 paragraphs. So I do like very much the introduction has what's called attention material. This is the grabber, the teaser. It introduces the topic and what the purpose of the paper is. So this is a jet ski. That's purely factual, just the topic. What is this paper about? And finally, some discussion of what the goal of the paper is, what the substance of the paper is. So that's called attention material, what it's about and what the goal is, where it's going to go. Orienting material in scientific writing is often called background material. And sometimes in a scientific paper, the attention material is the introduction, and this gets its own gets split out as a separate chunk or a separate section. I kind of like this way because background material really is part of an introduction in my vision of things for the relatively short 5 or 6 page paper that you'll be writing. So the orienting material has just background information that is important to present to the reader so that that person can understand what's to follow. After each significant section of a paper, the introduction and then the body, we need a transition. That transition is what leads from one section to another. There always needs to be a transition. It may be a sentence, at the end of a section. It may be a small paragraph, probably just more likely just a sentence. But you need a transition. How is the reader mentally going to move from the introduction to the body? Well, the body has several bits of material. It has a first paragraph, or maybe two short paragraphs that present first important point, the first important premise of the paper, another important premise, and another important premise. So those are the three premises. This particular outline jumps directly to the conclusion, and in this case, the author, the person who's written this outline, believes that enough has been said in point 1, point 2, and point 3 to complete a discussion of the topic, and the author obviously believes that body 1, body 2, and body 3 sections have been enough to prove the point, and then and therefore the paper can move to a conclusion. Many scientific papers, especially if they have data, for instance, and graphs and presentations, would require a discussion in between the body and the conclusion. So it is possible that a paper, especially one that presents scientific findings, needs to have a discussion, because the points 1, 2, 3, or data set 1, data set 2, and data set 3, or whatever, may not be complete enough or self-explanatory enough to close the sale, so to speak, to finish the paper. So there may very likely need to be a discussion in between the body, which may be methods, materials, and results. Methods, materials, and results. There may have to be a discussion before approaching and arriving at the conclusion, which in most scientific papers is very brief and is just a summary, as this is summary. And I do like the idea here of having a clincher, which in some papers is sometimes called the call to action, depending upon the overall purpose of the paper. There might be a clincher, or what to do next, or why this was so important, in addition to a summary of what was also presented. So in many scientific papers, the body itself, this may be methods, this part might be data or results, and then there may be a discussion here. The body of it may be methods, results, and discussion here. So there's always, depending upon the exact purpose and form of the paper, it might take a slightly different form. But we'll save that separate form for our in-class discussion when we have it.